Hey guys, it's Mike with the Sunday Scaries, and I just thought I'd drop a short video real quick, just giving you my thoughts on House of Dragons now that we're a little more than halfway through the second season. And to preference, I did love Game of Thrones. I love this kind of world of Westeros, and you know, I was really excited when House of Dragons got announced. I loved the first season. I'm really enjoying the second season, but I just want to say for anyone who hasn't seen the show but has seen the original and wants to know kind of why is this show worth watching, why is it different, I just want to say, you know, this is much more emotional as far as the dynamics of the characters. It's really an interesting show because it's about this family that is completely in power, whereas Game of Thrones, you know, is all these people fighting to get in power. And you have this family split into two sides. And it's the Targaryens, which was Daenerys' family in the original Game of Thrones, and you know, she's out of power, but this takes place, you know, a couple hundred years before. And you have these two main characters, Rhaenyra and Alicent. Rhaenyra, you know, she was the only child of her father, who was King Viserys, and her mother died in childbirth, and so he ended up naming her the heir to rule, which wasn't very popular back then to have a queen rule, but upon his death. And then he was forced to remarry for political reasons and actually married one of her best friends, which was a little weird given their age gap. And then he produced a bunch of sons who could become heirs to his throne once he died, but still was backing his daughter. You know, she got married, she had a bunch of kids, and anyways, now in season 2, you're seeing this big power struggle between the two families after his. What makes the show great, though, is because everyone's related and it's so dysfunctional that, you know, there's personal betrayal and all the fighting going on. And you didn't quite get that at the same level with Game of Thrones. Yes, you had the Lannisters, who definitely had a little family feud, but you know, the Starks, they were definitely all about their family. The Tyrells, the Martells, the Baratheons, well, they had a little bit of a civil war, but you know, in general though, it was families sticking with each other, trying to overthrow other families. This, it's cousins fighting cousins, brothers fighting brothers, aunts and uncles fighting their nieces and nephews, and I just really love that. And I think the characters overall are pretty good. I do think the character development's a little weaker in this show, even though I think the story's stronger. And the one complaint I have about season 2 so far, which fingers crossed, hopefully they improve this in the final few episodes, but Daemon Targaryen, who's such an interesting character, has kind of been sidelined most of the show and just doing these weird random dream sequences that I'm really sick of. So hopefully they stop that moving forward. But you know, everything else has been great, and the action and the battles have been terrific. You know, the dragons are so cool, and we still haven't really tapped into all the levels of how they select their dragon riders and the relationships with the riders and their dragons. But you know, they're kind of showing it without explaining it a little bit. There's a lot more there though for us to learn about. And I have not read the books, so I really don't know exactly how this story is going to end. But I have seen Game of Thrones, so I know eventually the Targaryens are going to lose power, and you know, there was no dragons in the future. There's this looming of self-destruction going on as this family has this big civil war, and everyone from the outside is just watching them kill each other. They're killing each other's dragons. That feeling though of self-destruction makes the stakes feel so high. Not that Game of Thrones didn't have high stakes with the, you know, White Walkers and everything, but yeah, it's been a very awesome show, and I'm gonna do a ranking once the season concludes of both the House of Dragon seasons mixed with Game of Thrones, because I do think, assuming this one finishes strong, both seasons of House of Dragons are kind of in that middle to better half of the series. I mean, it's been really good so far. But anyways, I just want to drop my thoughts. If you haven't started watching it and were a fan of the original show, I highly recommend it. But with that said, you know, leave a comment. Let me know what you've thought of House of Dragons. Let me know what you think of Game of Thrones. And let me know what's your rankings right now of Game of Thrones and the House of Dragons seasons. Because again, I'll be doing a ranking video in about 4 or 5 weeks here. But I would love to know your thoughts. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a good rest of your week.